Here at the steps of the library before we head on out to our protest in the UN is Nahela Hadi. She is an Afghan American nonprofit leader who, as an executive director of the Adopt a Minefield campaign, raised tens of millions of dollars to clean landmines in Afghanistan. She was born in Kabul at the age of 7, moved to Bangkok, Thailand, and later on to Nairobi, Kenya, where her father worked with the United Nations. Her extended family fled Afghanistan following the 1978 communist coup, settling in different countries around the world, including the United States. Give a warm welcome to Nahela.
Thank you. I'm old school. Paper here. Good afternoon and salam alaikum. And thank you to all the organizers, to Zach and Soil and all the others for organizing this rally for all of us today. The situation in Afghanistan continues to worsen by the day for our sisters and brothers. And my heart goes out to all who were affected by this horrendous events of the last 2 weeks and of the last 40 years. I am, however, heartened to see so many of you here today as we gather to call on global leaders and our fellow citizens to stand by the people of Afghanistan and save Afghan lives. We have heard much over the last 2 weeks, from media pundits to so-called foreign policy experts, pontificating on what went wrong in Afghanistan and why. Many of us already have a good sense of the whys and hows, and we'll have an even stronger understanding in the coming months and years. But today I'm here because I want to debunk a talking point that seems to unite the experts on the right and the left. It's a colonial trope that is used to delegitimize people outside of the West, that somehow Afghanistan is not a country, that we are not a people, but rather that we are a group of warring tribes who constantly fight each other. Even President Biden used this talking point on Thursday when responding to a reporter's question. This belief, my friends, is absolutely wrong. It is condescending and it reeks of imperialist tones. As every Afghan American standing here today will tell you, and proudly at that, Afghanistan has a long and rich history that goes back for centuries. The modern state of Afghanistan as we know it was established over 200 years ago. And prior to that, under various names and with shifting borders depending on political and regional alliances, Afghanistan itself ruled as an empire across Asia. Over centuries, our land has had more than its fair share of invaders, from Alexander the Great to Genghis Khan, the British Empire, the Soviet Union, the United States, and among others. And yes, Afghanistan is comprised of multi-ethnic groups that have strong tribal affinity and pride. But at their core, those very same tribes see themselves as Afghans and have consistently come together to fight off foreign intervention and invaders. The Afghans gathered here today and in other cities around the world are comprised of proud and concerned people from all of these tribes. We are proud to call ourselves Afghan. We take pride in our long and fascinating history. We love our shared rich culture that includes poetry, art, music, and dance. And while we each may have different ways of making our palaus and other delicious food, we gladly and without hesitation will share our meals with one another, with any mehman, that's guest, who stands in our doorways. So as I stand before you here today, I am proud to say that though Afghanistan too has yet to achieve that perfect union, it is a country. We are Afghan. We are Nuristani. We are Hazara. We are Pashtun. We are much. We bring our rich history and culture to our lives as proud Afghan Americans. And as Afghan Americans, we call on our government, from our president, Mr. Joe Biden, to our elected representatives in Washington, D.C., to not turn their backs on the people of Afghanistan who desperately need our help. Save Afghan lives!